Dr. Komu, you've listened to Mr. Thompson talk about the situation with the Boko Haram, the infiltration of institutions, and the narrative in the international community. But let's look at this effect. This security challenge is also kind of like tapered down to the southern part of the country. In Lagos, we have Badu attacking people in their homes at night, and we have students kidnappings here and there. Mm-hmm. What's your take on these challenges?
Thank you, and a very good morning, President Adi Thompson, and our lovely Auntie Alero. I hope you guys, when I don't see the rain with daily because it's plenty. So I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you in the studio today. Now, I'm very concerned about the difficulties we're having with security in the southern part of the country, particularly in our Lagos state here, because this Badu phenomenon, I was quoted extensively in the Punch newspaper of yesterday on some strategies that I said we should adopt, because this is a problem we always have with cult gangs. These cultists, the gangs, whether there is Million Man Gang or what gang, all those ones in in Isolo, in Mushi, you have this gang problem throughout this city or this metropolitan area. And gangs are a phenomenon of urban centers because youths have to, dissipate their energy somehow. And if these youths don't have meaningful ways, planned ways, that's planned by government. We know that from SEPTED, 1962, the Chicago School, Crime Prevention through Environmental Design. You must have something for these young people to be doing so that they have an alternative to crime. Now, if you don't have, if you sell your stadia, spaces that were provided to be stadia, you sell it as land for people to build in the Ikeja GRA, well, of course, those things in the Ikeja don't have anywhere to recreate. So they become criminals in due course. So I am worried about the Badu thing because it's claiming so many lives, claimed in less than a year by this Badu thing, and so many more injured. Now they go in and do systematic extermination of families. They kill mother, father, and children. I mean, that's really very gory. And then they smash people's heads with grinding stones, which is like their calling card. So here we are dealing with serial killers. So what's our capacity to deal with these serial killers? What's our capacity to detect them, prevent them, and so on and so forth? Now, I just listened to Olu Phillips' report there, where he was talking about how the Vigilance group was able to ferret out the killers, the people who beheaded a little boy there. And I say kudos to them, because that's part of the bulwark of defense that we need in the whole country. Because the situation that, aside from the international conspiracy dimension that Pastor La of the problem of security in Nigeria is ungoverned space. Ungoverned space. We have spaces that are not governed. Like I said in Guardian of Punch of yesterday, we have a problem of capable guardianship. We don't have capable guardians. The police is limited in so very many ways. They don't have enough detectives. They don't have funding. They have so many wahalas. So many other things that can be done. I mean, it's just because we are not using our cerebral muscle to attack this problem. Some of what I'm hearing Pastor Ladi say there in your studio. So back to Lagos and our problem. So Vigilance group, that is very important, because you must, when you see crimes repeating in a community, you don't need to tell that community to do self-help remedy. They must help themselves first before even heaven or government will help them. So they must band themselves into vigilance groups and then patrol at night. We now know that Badu patrols at night. Badu has left some signatures. They've told us what they do. They go because there is darkness, that they're able to operate in the dark. So perhaps Governor Ambadi can help us in this regard. They can put up those their nice solar street lights so that we can erase pockets of darkness. We must have vigilance groups out there defending their communities, because their kids and their family members who are going to be killed next if they don't do anything. If you're waiting for the police agency, they don't have enough men to do this thing. So, so where are we? Now, let's go back to what the police can do for us. We need competent crime scene investigations. We need to go back there, get some good detectives who can now start looking at the modus operandi of these bastards, so that they can figure out what they are doing repeatedly, get some evidence, because the problem we have most of the times is even when you arrest these guys, you don't have enough probative evidence to prove that they are the killers, to the exclusion of all other killers in the world of those people. So what happens is you go to court, maybe the case gets thrown out on the technicality, and we now say that the judges are corrupt, which is not proven. But having said that, however, the point is the investigation is always faulty because we don't have our strategies in place. Now, so we must look at serial gangs. We must have like a serial gangs or serial killer task force in place, particularly in Lagos here. We must set up a task force. That's the job for Commissioner Owusheni. He must set up a group of crack detectives to take a good, strong, hard look at this issue of Badu and other killer gangs in the city.
If I may come in here, Dr. There's the other bit about where, Mr. Thompson mentioned infiltration of institutions. Some of these people, when arrested, when they are arrested or they are being investigated, you just talked about evidence, not having enough evidence to prosecute some of these cases. Is there a possibility that some of their backers are in some of these institutions that are supposed to carry on with the prosecution? You talked about unguarded spaces. How do we get that sorted out? Former military president of the country was quoted in a statement in the course of the week as talking about the need for people to let down, relax about this idea of we don't want state police, allow state police because it is needed at this point in time. Would that help in any way, especially as regards backers in institutions of prosecution and security?
Well, I think I beg to disagree with my brother, Reverend Thompson, there on this fifth columnist thing. They are always there in every institution. Believe you me, they are there. That's why this Boko Haram conflict was so protracted. I did a longitudinal study on counterintelligence within our system, and we always have that problem. It's there. I don't care. Even in the US, you have the problem too. It depends on the internal mechanisms for controlling those kinds of things. That's how you can get rid of that. But the point remains, well, now let's talk about state police you just mentioned from General Babangida. I have been an ardent opponent of state police for so many reasons. Capacity, abuse, so many things that can go wrong. You think we have problems now? Wait till you get to state police, then you really see the kind of problems we have in Nigeria. We still don't have that maturity yet. I maintain that position. We don't have the maturity, absolutely not. And whoever is saying that doesn't wish Nigeria well. Now, but back to the issue of the detection of the crime. You see, this is the problem. When you do a bad crime scene procedure and you go to court and you are relying only on the confession you beat out of the bad guys, all they need to do is recant. They say, I never said that. He's lying against me. Yeah. So, but if you have hard evidence, if you have probative evidence, if you have evidence that will speak for itself, that's why it's called evidence. It speaks for itself. If you have good, probative, hard evidence, it convicts the man. He doesn't have to rely on his agreeing, oh yes, I really killed them. Because you can now show that there's a trace, there's a link between the crime scene and the killer. In this case, the man you have in court, and you'll be able to, prove your case. But because we are not paying attention to those granular details, that is criminal investigation, whether we like it or not. That's the kind of police force that the British bequeathed onto us. So if we decide to throw it out of the window with the bathwater, then that's our problem. But the point remains that we must have that capacity. We must do the right things. And it's knowledge-based. It's not juju. It's not about conspiracies. It's not about who likes who and who doesn't like who. It's not even about state police. You have state police. You have all these problems all over again. So that's really where I'm going with this thing. But there are some basic things, that very quickly, I don't know how much time I have, that we need to be able to do. Tips hotline. The government must give people numbers to call when Badu is at 8 or whoever else, any gang, or even Boko Haram, or even the Amanjeri bomb, which Baba Thompson is referring to there. The government must give people tips hotline where to call in. This bedlam of phone numbers that you say SSS has his number, NSA has his number, everybody. I mean, this is crazy. We've talked about this for years. You and I and Nota have talked about this for many years, I know, and nothing's been done about it. And yet, we are surprised that there's so much crime. Why would there be crime when there's no capable guardian, nobody to detect the criminals? Look, all you need to do is catch a few of these criminals, punish them severely. The others will say, I don't want that kind of fate coming to me. Now, that is where it is. Tips hotlines, you need reward money. Right now, you see what's happening with the so-called, what do you call it, the whistleblower policy. That's a very wrong terminology anyway, to begin with. It's a brain dead terminology, but let's assume because we are in Nigeria and we are doing Baba Salah, we accept it. That's wrong. What they are describing, that's not a whistleblower, but let me leave that for another day. This whistleblower policy is effective. Why? Because there is financial incentive. When you tell people, you blow a whistle on somebody, you drop a dime on somebody, you call somebody that is a criminal, will pay you, that is called, then there's money for that, there's budget. It's called reward for justice money. It's there in the budget already of the police agency today. And so you pay people to give you information. I mean, if you start doing some of these things, now we need a longitudinal study on the problem of cults and gangs in Nigeria. Not even in Nigeria, in Lagos State. Let's just say, I don't want to go to Nigeria, because when you say Nigeria, the problems of Kwara State, where they are killing a lot of people right now in the Ofa area and all, and the problems of Taraba State, where they have gone berserk and they've killed over 500 there on Gembu, on the Mambila Plateau. You know, I mean, they are all different. We have different problems from all over the country. Let the local administrators, let the local police chiefs, let the governors, Darasi Shako and his police chief there, let them deal with that problem. It's their problem. And then the GOC 3D, let them deal with that problem. But here in my Lagos State, I'm worried that LSSTF should bring out money. Let's do a longitudinal study. Somebody like Pastor Thompson there with you, you know, can lead a study. There are many guys, good guys, intelligent guys at Unilag. Even Lasso, I don't know what their caliber is in Lasso, but at least Unilag I know. There are intelligent guys here who can come and conduct a longitudinal study. Let's have some cerebral input into these difficulties we're having. Because we just keep, we keep begging the problem. We are hoping the problem will go away. It won't go away. Somebody's got to solve the problem. That's what leadership is all about.